where news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
It is Sunday, February 12th. Welcome to ABC-7 Extra. Good evening. I'm Stephanie Guadian. For the next half hour, we will be talking about health care for borderland veterans. This week, senators are set to vote on Dr. David Shulkin, President Trump's choice to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. Shulkin says that he will work quickly to meet the medical care needs of millions of veterans without dismantling the troubled department. Trump criticized the VA during the presidential campaign as, quote, the most corrupt. The president has also said that he wants a commission to investigate wrongdoing and create a 24-hour White House hotline to register complaints about the agency. Tonight, my guest is Michael Amaral, the director of the El Paso VA healthcare system. Remember, we want to hear from you tonight. You can email us your comments and your questions right now to ABC7Extra at KVIA.com. You can also reach us by calling 915-496-1771. And you can always tweet me at Guadian, ABC7. Just use the hashtag ABC7Extra. A new and improved VA clinic is being built in Las Cruces. The El Paso VA healthcare system broke ground for the new facility on Friday. It's being built at 3401 Del Rey Boulevard near the intersection of Mars, just north of US 70. Here's a look at what the facility will look like once it's completed. Contractors say that there will be a couple of additions to the facility which weren't originally included in this plan. ABC7's Evan Folan was at the groundbreaking. VA employees and veterans that he talked to say this has been a long time coming.
What a great day to be a veteran in Las Cruces.
Construction already underway for a new and improved VA clinic in Las Cruces.
Oh, this is huge. If you haven't been to the Las Cruces CBOC, it's an older building. It's a small building. It's kind of in a strip mall. It served us well for many years. Some great care provided out of there. But the market has grown. Our population grows, so do we. We have to grow to meet those needs.
Standing in the parking lot of the existing VA here in Las Cruces, I can see just how small the facility is, offering parking for up to 20 to 25 cars. The new facility will be built right here, nearly double the size of the old facility, sitting at 12,500 square feet, offering services that were only once available in El Paso.
This has been a long time coming. A lot of veterans are looking forward to it.
It'll help all the veterans around here, and there'll be room.
I think it's great. You know, they finally need it because they don't have enough room over the small sheetrock they got.
And with the future expansion,
it'll allow us a lot more room to be able to do what we do best, which is take care of our veterans.
Veterans and the VA are hopeful waiting times will decrease.
So we will be able to provide quicker care, more care for our veterans in our local community.
Something the director says is most important.
It doesn't necessarily matter what building you're doing it out of. It's just doing great care, not just clinical care, but taking care and treating the patient well.
And that was Evan Folan reporting for us. The Las Cruces VA Clinic is expected to be open by the end of the year. And joining us now is Michael Amaral, El Paso VA Healthcare System Director. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So you haven't had this job very long.
No, I've not. Tomorrow will be 90 days.
Okay, and what brought you to El Paso?
The Army brought me to El Paso. I came down on orders back in 2011, and like I was sharing with you before, I almost decided to retire instead of coming to El Paso, just because I didn't know about El Paso. It was never on my list of places to go. And so I came down here, and two of the things that I thought about was it's a big flat nothing, and that there was a crime issue. And so as I flew in and I saw those beautiful mountains, I thought, wow, what else was I wrong about? And while I was down here for that week, El Paso was announced as the safest city in America, over 500,000. I think it was the third year in a row at that point. And I moved down here, worked at William Beaumont as the chief of staff for 4.5 years. Just absolutely fell in love with the community. So decided I was going to stay here once I retired.
Okay, and then you got the new job. But once you got the job, you were telling me a little bit earlier, you sort of went incognito because you wanted to see firsthand for yourself what was going on. What did you find out?
Yes, I did. I put on a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, ball cap, found some old prescription glasses, and I went and I spent about 4 hours just walking throughout the clinic, sitting in different waiting rooms, just watching what was going on. And I saw some good things. I saw some not so good things. The one thing that really stood out above everything else was that I didn't see any of the staff smiling. I saw the volunteers. The volunteers are smiling, and they're part of my staff. But the rest of the staff I didn't see smiling. And it just really spoke to me about just really the roots of the organization, of what's been going on there for the last several years. You know, to me, like I've described it, it's like a child that you tell so many times, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. They start to believe it. And, you know, they're doing great things in that building every day. They're treating hundreds of patients every day. And, but they've kind of gotten a bad rap out in the public, and so that's one of my biggest things, is to improve their organizational self-image.
What else did you find out now that you've had the job for about 90 days? What are some of the big challenges that you are going to face moving forward?
The biggest challenge that I have, and it's not just us, it's the entire El Paso market, is attracting qualified clinicians to come down here and work for us. I know that they've got the problem over at William Beaumont. I know that they've got the problem out in the community. And it's the same misperception I had about El Paso. It's a misperception of getting them down here. Once they come down here, you know, they fall in love with it. But it's actually getting them to come down here and see, you know, what a great community it is, what great people we have here, the great weather, the cost of living, all those things that you know, make for a wonderful place to live and work.
So is there a shortage of doctors then?
Yes. Right now, the only thing that I know off the top of my head is that I've got about 7 primary care providers that I'm short. I know that I'm short some mental health positions. And we've had those advertised. We have incentives to get them here. We just can't get the providers here. And with what I'm trying to do with the organizational culture, I'm also trying to get the right people here. I'm trying to get the people with the right customer service skills, the people who are going to treat our veterans, you know, like they should treat anybody, just with dignity, respect, and compassion. And that's my biggest move. That's what I've been moving toward in my first 90 days.
Okay. Well, we always ask folks to call in.
Sure.
and give us their comments and join the conversation. I do think we have a caller. Go ahead.
This is Harvey. My concern is when you call into the VA for your prescription refills, you have to give your entire Social Security number, and I think maybe they need to change that. Maybe give your date of birth and your last 4 with the problems with identity theft now.
Okay, Harvey, yeah, I appreciate you calling in. That's a good point. I will check on that. I'm not sure why we require full Social Security number. I know that we do need at least the last 4 of your Social Security number just to pull you up in the system, but I'm kind of hard-pressed to figure out why we need the entire Social Security number. So, you know, that's a great point that I'll bring up with my staff when I'm in there tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. So going back a little ways, the El Paso VA was rated 1 star out of, I think, is it 4 or 5 stars? 5 stars. Okay. Not great. Looking back, can you see what were some of the problems?
I can see some of the problems, yes. One of our biggest challenges was access, being able to get the patients in to get the great care that our providers give. If I don't have the docs and the nurse practitioners and the PAs to do those, to see those patients, I can't get them in. One challenge that we do have, Congress passed the Choice Act about 2 years ago, I think it was, where we can send our veterans out to community providers if they live a certain distance away, or if we can't see them within 30 days. Unfortunately, we have a lot of veterans who opt out of that program. It's something that they have to opt into. And so that's also what's adding into.
Why would they opt out?
I honestly don't know. I haven't had enough time to talk with some who have opted out to find out why. I think that there's a concern that if we send them out to the community that we'll never take them back, and that's not the case at all. In fact, for specialty care or for other certain diagnostics, they have to come back to us from their primary care provider. So that one I'm a little hard pressed on. Okay, we've got another caller. Caller, go ahead.
Just a quick question for Mr. Amaral. When you guys hire physicians, do they have a contract for, say, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, and must they abide by that contract? Because the turnover rate is just incredibly tremendous, and it affects the veterans part of it. Thank you, sir.
Sure, and I apologize, my earpiece fell, so I didn't get your name. But actually, our providers are all government employees. They're not contractors. And so we can't obligate them, unless they sign up for some type of incentive, we can't obligate them to stay longer than they want to. In reality, a lot of times if they do take an incentive, then they've got a 1 or 2 year payback for that. But that leading into another thing, one of the big challenges we had at the VA was a revolving door of leadership. I know that we had a series of acting directors over the last 2 years. Before that, I believe that the previous director had only been there about 18 months. And I know the associate director was the same case. I know that while I was at William Beaumont, I believe that there were 4 associate directors there.
Now, you mentioned that this is another challenge for you, not only, getting people to come to El Paso, but then getting them to stay, that El Paso has maybe the borderland been seen as a stepping stone to other bigger opportunities.
Yes, and, to be a director in the VA, to be a director at one of the major medical centers, you have to start out at a smaller clinic like El Paso. And so I think a lot of people say, okay, well, I'll do my time in El Paso, but as soon as I qualify, I'm moving up to go to a bigger facility. Or some people may want to go up and work at the headquarters up in D.C., which I'll never want to go back to.
I was just going to say, what about you? Are you looking to stay?
I am staying. I'm not looking to stay. I am staying. El Paso is now my home. I'm originally from Massachusetts, but I moved here 4.5 years ago, fell in love with it, and I'm not going anywhere. And my plan is to be there for 5 or 6 years, because I do believe that all leadership has an expiration date, and so that's kind of my plan.
All right, we've got some Facebook comments that we want to get to. Ray Estrada says, I have been waiting for over 1 year to have reconstructive knee surgery. My knee is bone on bone. He wants me to ask you how much longer I have to wait. U.S. Marine veteran.
Okay, well,
probably can't speak to his case
yeah,
specifically.
I'd have to get a little more.
Yeah.
Again, part of it goes, and I'm not going to say that this is the case here, part of it goes out to the veterans opting into choice. I know that we have a great relationship with William Beaumont, and they've got some of the best orthopedic surgeons in the country, and there'll be people that will intentionally wait there. Again, I don't know the specifics of his. Waiting for a year sounds extreme, but again, I kind of have to know the information. So if he wants to send us a message on our Facebook page, we'd be happy to look into it.
Yeah, and I can tell you that for myself personally, I get the frustration that many of these people are sharing with us tonight. Part of the reason I came back to the borderland was to help take care of my elderly grandparents, and we were in Las Cruces. And I know I sat with my grandfather for hours and hours at that Las Cruces clinic. Where are we with wait times? Are those getting better?
You mean wait times once you get an appointment?
Or even to get an appointment? Both.
Again, to get an appointment, that's the access challenge. And if you don't have enough providers, then you can't get the patients in to be seen. We're working real hard. We've got incentives out. We've got recurring advertising out, trying to get people to come in. The other part that I looked at, we talked about the public perception of the El Paso VA and the VA in general. And so when you're already in a medically underserved market, and when you do get a provider down here, first of all, we can't get them to El Paso. If we can't get them to El Paso, they're going to want to work for the VA with all the negative things that have been in the news about that. With all the negative things in the news about El Paso VA, you wanted to get them in. And then, the final step is, if I do get them in the door, and they walk around and they see none of the staff smiling, I wouldn't want to go work for that. Now, I came to work for it because I worked next door and worked closely with them for 4.5 years. So I do know, the potential that we've got over there. But wait times for appointments, that's why we have the choice program. If we can't see you within 30 days, then we can choice you out, but the veteran has to opt in for that.
Okay.
I'm not thrilled with the wait times once you're in the lobby and you check in and you're at the in the waiting room. And I'm working on that.
Okay. All right. Good to know. We have a lot more to talk about.
I will instruct my staff that if a valid complaint is not addressed, that the issue be brought directly to me, and I will pick up the phone and fix it myself if I have to. Believe me, I will fix it.
Here's a promise. Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Joining us now again is Michael Amaral, El Paso VA Healthcare System Director. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. President Trump, you know, we will have to wait to see what he does accomplish, but he's at the very least shining a light on the department that he thinks needs a lot of improvement.
Yes. And I think a great decision that he made was nominating Dr. Shulkin to be the secretary. Like we were talking about a minute ago, changes of leadership make things difficult sometimes. Dr. Shulkin has been in the system. He's been working the improvements that have been occurring over the last 18 months to 2 years. So it's not going to be a new person that we're having to learn. In my short time, I've actually worked with Dr. Shulkin in some of the elements of Congressman O'Rourke's pilot project. And so I know him. I'm not going to say I know him, but I've worked with him, and I think he's got the veterans' best interest at heart.
All right, let's talk about Beto O'Rourke and the pilot program.
Sure.
What have you been doing with that?
So when I first got here, Congressman O'Rourke had been working several issues with the El Paso VA. Some of them were hiring issues. Some of them were, relationship with Texas Tech. Some of them were additional CBOCs, like we just covered up in Las Cruces. Other elements to it. And so what I've been doing is I've been just more trying to clarify, because it wasn't really solid, documents. Well, what is Texas Tech really going to do for us? A lot of that's got to do with mental health care. And so, one piece of it that we're looking at is we're in the contracting action now for a West Side CBOC. We're going to build a West Side CBOC, bring primary care over to our veterans who live in the West Side, so that we're bringing the care closer to where our veterans live. We're looking at another one down in South Central to allow us to continue to build on the great relationship that we have with Texas Tech. And then my ultimate goal is to move that facility, the main facility that we have up on the William Beaumont campus, to the new William Beaumont campus, because we've got such a strong relationship, like no place else I've ever been, between the VA and the military treatment facility on the base.
All right, I think a lot of people will be pleased to hear that. Let's go ahead and hear from a couple more of our callers tonight. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, my name is Ramon Orguin. I live in San Elizario. I'm a Vietnam vet, retired military, and I want to say that the bad news and the bad information that people put out about the VA system, especially here in El Paso, I have dealt with the VA system here in El Paso. I've never had a complaint for our VA system here. I'm very proud of the work they do. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that, and thank you for your service. And my intent is just to make things even better for you. Our veterans, and really it's the basics of human interaction. We all deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and compassion. I can enforce that on my staff, but the thing that I keep trying to impress on our population is that healthcare is a relationship. It's a relationship from the service provider to the patient. I have the responsibility to get you access, to get you into the system. I'm having some challenges with that right now, but I'm working on it. I have the commitment to provide great care, and I will provide you great customer service and treat you with dignity, respect, and compassion throughout. The patient has the responsibility of showing up for their appointment, showing up on time, treating my staff with dignity and respect, and then doing the therapies that the providers tell them to do. And so I'm working on that with our veteran population. I'm working through our great veteran service organizations and any other outlets that I can do to just mend some of those fences.
Okay, let's take a couple more Facebook comments here. Our next one is from Eric, and he says, how does you plan to improve our current system? I made an appointment back in January, and the earliest appointment isn't till April. That is